Welcome to I Ching Mashup with Michele and Lisa. I'm Michele.
And I'm Lisa. Together we explore the ancient wisdom of the I Ching and mash it up with real modern life. Our questions, our challenges, and our breakthroughs.
Take a breath, get curious, and let's see what the hexagrams have to say today.
Hi, everybody. Welcome into I Ching Mashup with Michele and Lisa. I'm Lisa.
Hello, and I'm Michele, and we are joined by somebody fabulous today.
Hi,
Brooke, would you like
everyone.
to say hello?
Hi, everyone. I'm Brooke Ballan, and I'm so excited to be here again. Was here last in December, and when Lisa and Michele reached out, asking me if I wanted to come back, of course, my answer was yes, because these two ladies are just absolutely fabulous, and I love everything that they speak about. So excited for today.
We had an obsessively good pre-chat. I have been stalking Brooke on her social media, so we'll make sure that we drop it inside of the description so you can too. And she's cooking up some exciting things that are super relevant to what Michele and I have been talking about. So this is the best time to bring Brooke in to join our circle here doing the I Ching mashup.
And you know what, Lisa? This
Yeah.
is like living proof with your own eyeballs that we can see how energy really does get into the collective and people approach it the same topic from different angles, right? What we're working on is very similar. We're just coming in it from different perspectives.
Well, same as those tarot readers and the scientists and
I know, but
other
I'm
things.
saying this is very personal for us.
This is super personal for us,
collective.
But it's a good, so you're meeting like in person some of our very near and dear collective, but I want to guess that everyone who's found the I Ching mashup is also of equal contributory.
Right. That's what I'm saying. If Brooke is thinking about it, I'm sure people who are listening to us are also thinking about it. That's why it's popping up in their algorithm so they can learn more about it too or express their ideas too. So it's really freaking cool. We're showing real live examples of how collective energy works.
You know what just popped in my head talking about collective energy. Michele, a few months back, you did my I Ching and feminine energy and a lot of what we're about to speak about. Didn't know how this was going to tie in, but almost 3 months later, here we are. So
here we are.
That just popped in my head, and I just wanted to share that. It's just so amazing. The synchronicities and the alignment that always happens when, you're aligned.
I do remember that reading. It was all about your feminine energy too.
It was.
Oh, wow. I love that. Yeah.
I know. I'm like, here we are. I'm like, wait a minute. Let me remind myself this.
This was foretold.
Yes.
Yes. So we each have our I Ching decks with us, and we've cooked up a really great inquiry for the I Ching that we're going to read in a minute. Brooke and I are both using our Paul O'Brien decks. Michele, what do you have today?
The one that I love. My Tao Oracle. Tao, I can't say it. Tao Oracle. The Tao.
Yes.
T-A-W. Yeah. This one.
And you don't have to use cards. We like cards for visual reading since we're going to video. But also you can cast the coins, the traditional method or wands, however you choose, whatever your method is, you can bring it to the mashup. You can also find different resources just through Google.
I've even seen people that just fan the deck out and pick 2 cards. I've seen people read the I Ching all kinds of ways.
Yeah, I'm not going to knock any method because what works for you, right?
And also, I don't even know if I feel like the word read is right. I feel like it's a consultation every time we do this.
Yeah, it's the way we're supposed to treat it.
Yeah, we come to like a trusted advisor for advice, and then they consult us.
Yeah,
it's the wise oracle.
Yes,
sitting on the mountain.
Shall I read the question?
Yes, please do.
It's a good one.
What guidance does the I Ching offer for our collective and those balancing feminine energy who are surrendering busyness and ego to become passionate guides during this period 9 transition? What pitfalls or blind spots should we watch for so our work empowers our collective rather than creating dependency or ego-driven outcomes? Okay.
We really liked that second part because we all find it really important in our Feng Shui practice that we're empowering people to do this work for themselves. Ooh, mine are so good. And not to
I don't
become
even know.
dependent. Yours aren't popping?
No, not at all. I'm trying to be
I
so
really like mine. I can't
careless.
wait. Oh
Are
my
yours
gosh.
out yet? Oh,
Hold
okay,
on.
there's one. I got
Here's
one.
one. Interesting.
Mm. Whoops.
So, you guys, I have all these. I was gifted a bunch of Feng Shui books from a friend and from a teacher. And there's so many really cool I Ching books and notes and all that kind of stuff that have been passed around. Next time we get together, I'll have to show them to you and pass around some books. But
Would love to see them.
yeah, I love it, especially the handwritten notes.
Yeah, that somebody
I
else
love
wrote.
that.
Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
nice to see what they were like, what they were thinking or what they thought was important.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I got my two.
I got mine
Okay.
too.
Okay. So for the first part, what guidance does the I Ching offer for our collective and those balancing feminine energy who are surrendering their busyness and ego to become compassionate guides during this period 9 transition? I have hexagram 58, which is joy.
No,
I really
Oh,
like it.
that's
nice.
beautiful.
So
Love
pretty.
that.
What do you all have for your first part?
Michelle, you want to go?
I have number 60, which is limitations, which sounds limiting, but it's really not.
It's
Anyway,
really not.
lit,
Yes, it's one of
yeah.
those.
Interesting, because Lisa says joy, and obviously that has such a positive, motion to it, right? And then we have
Yes.
limitations, which is not always bad, but it kind of has that negative motion towards it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I actually have number 39, which is temporary obstacles.
I love
Whoa.
that one though. I love
Yeah.
that
I
one.
do too. I love this because I think that this is so super powerful. And talking about feminine energy, like I look at this as we are period 9, we're in a fire element, and these just look
Those
like
look
little
like
fire
fire.
specks. And the feminine energy is so powerful running through with this river, right? That's the way I'm looking at this beautiful
And there's
visualization of
nine.
this card.
There's 9 boulders.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10.
Oh, 10. Dang it.
But
All
we're
right.
close.
The
But
rocks, but if you look at the rocks, the boulders in the background, those look very feminine too.
they are, and I
What
just
color?
love how it just the water's flowing down, and it's that
Uh-huh.
feminine energy, in my opinion, the way I'm looking at this, and intuitively, it's just the feminine energy is breaking through, right? Maybe a couple things are going to pop up, but I promise you that not everything that is a down or a negative in your life, I promise it will always end up being so grateful that that happened to you because the better things on the
Mm-hmm.
other side are way
Correct.
greater.
What's your second card, Brooke?
21 cutting through,
Ooh,
I like
nice. Okay,
that.
so we're going to have some
right?
temporary obstacles and then we're going to cut right through them because
That's
they're
right.
temporary. My second one is duration,
Ah,
What was your first one again? Your
limitation,
limitations and then
duration.
duration. I don't know what
Number
number is that.
32. 32.
yeah.
That's
I
not
don't know whether,
something familiar to me. Endurance. Okay. Ooh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So
My
my,
second one is treading carefully, by the way.
I like
Ah,
that.
Hexagram 10.
That makes sense when we're trying to make sure that we don't let our egos become overblown or people become dependent on us. We need to tread carefully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I have a feeling these are going to all tie together really beautifully.
yes.
Okay, I am just going to summarize. I know we get joy a lot from the aspect of joy is something that emboldens us, empowers us. It's one of the highest vibratory places that we can be outside of love. If happiness is supported by stability, it will wear down the stiffest barrier and win over the hardest heart. I think tying in both of your first energies as well too. True joy is a beacon in the world. So I
Mm-hmm.
love that because what we were asking in that first part is for those seeking, what is the thing that we can do while we're surrendering our busyness is doing and being in a place of joy first. Not that
Mm-hmm.
we're just going to sit around and eat bonbons joyfully.
Right.
Well, I
Um,
mean, I could.
we
They're
could,
delicious,
I
but
like
yes,
bonbons.
but it's the enjoyment of learning and discovery
yeah.
that has served as an inspiration for much progress. And as such, that which brings joy into the world is also a source of much potential. So
Mm.
always go to that place first. Um, I'm going to count up my change lines, but I'll let the next person who's ready to go talk about theirs.
I can go next. Number 60, I'm going to do this quickly as well. Limitations, which, like Brooke and I were saying, kind of sounds negative, but some of the keywords are great. They're self-discipline, practice, self-respect, introspection, ritual, cultivate patience, build up energy, and then leading to maturity. And basically what this is saying is it's just as nature imposes limits on all things, causing energy to build up from within. Without limitations, it is impossible to maximize our potential. So, and we're talking about as we surrender busyness and ego, right? So, we're going to have to limit some things in order to do that.
Mhm.
So, when you limit how many times you say yes, or, you limit how many times you go to your chat GPT and ask it a question so it builds up it tells you exactly what you want to hear. And you do, like I know people who do that entirely too much. um, you have to limit things that are going to take you away from your internal connection, right? From your internal growth. So that's what I think limitation means in this situation. I don't think it's anything bad at all. It's limiting things externally so you can grow and experience joy internally. There, I tied ours together.
Yeah,
Um,
that was an easy tie together. Like also,
mhm,
just like the limitations are healthy boundaries.
right. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean like limitations that seem to be like cutting you down or withholding something from you. It's limitations and extraneous things that don't do anything positive for you, basically. Um, it says um, during this time of limitations, like when we are kind of like pulling back from external
Mhm.
expectations, it says it's helpful at this time to remember that practice makes perfect. And even if we accept that attaining perfection is an impossibility, most of us will still strive toward it. So during your time where you're using self discipline, self respect, introspection, and cultivating patience, right? That's the time to practice this, is when we're limiting our external affairs and focusing more inward. Practice every
Mm,
day.
I
That's
love that.
that's the guidance for what we do to become compassionate guides during this period 9.
I
That's
love
all.
that.
I'm going to tie it in for both of you because I'm so
Yes.
happy the two of you went first because I think this just kind of wraps up temporary obstacles, right? We need to have them. We need to have them to see and appreciate the overcome, right?
Mhm.
So, over here it says temporary obstacles need to be seen for what they are. Temporary. They are temporary, okay? And even if they were a little bit more permanent, what are you going to do in your life to be able to remove that, right? Again, still
Or work
temporary. It's
around
not
it.
completely permanent. Right. Work around it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Work with both of your environments, your inner and your outer, right? And I love how, Michele, you talked about the environment because in here, um, I love what this says. It says a positive aspect of even the most difficult stumbling block is that it can cause a person to turn inward, right? We want to turn inward. Your inwardness is that feminine side, gaining greater depth of character and self-knowledge. So with those limitations you're talking about, when you were mentioning, taking that time, limiting yourself from other areas that maybe no longer serve you, finding that greater depth when you are in tune with yourself and it is that greater depth, there's that joy that comes into play. Um,
Yep.
the other thing that really stood out for me is if you're facing an interruption of your progress, don't be overly concerned. Everything will work out if you surrender to it, right? And you allow it to let it flow and don't give up, right? So the obstacles, the setbacks and reversals can affect morale, but keeping up your self-confidence in a face of obstacles is part of the successful solution to many problems. Obstacles of short duration are best handled with yielding attitude. Go around the boulder, don't put it on your shoulder.
Mm,
Ooh, I like that one. I wish somebody would have told me that a long time ago.
Right?
I like that. Yeah, if you can't go through it, go around it.
Right.
Over it,
There's
I
like
think
even if
that's
that
you're
kid
weak.
amazing.
song.
The
I
way
don't
these
remember.
all three, the way these all three like complement each other is so fascinating to me.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
see, like, look at mine has like these waves in the image, the artist image,
Hmm.
it's Joan Larimore. Very
Yep.
similar, but it's kind of like underneath the surface of the water is kind of like growing up a force.
Yep.
And that's like a heart above
And
it.
it's an upside down
Yeah,
heart. Yep.
Yeah.
yeah. Isn't that interesting? So I
Yeah.
only have one change line. And so the nuanced guidance here is pleasant circumstances do not always indicate success. Having lost touch with one's deeper self and true purpose, it is possible to be swept along by vanity and superficial pleasures, to be carried away from the sources of true joy. When this happens, it is no longer a question of good or bad fortune. When you lose control of your choices, everything is left to chance. So
Mm.
I like that. But when we were talking in the pre-chat about, and you said on our topic of the month call inside the guild, even that a lot of times people go right to wanting to activate abundance and they want to go right and activate fame and reputation.
Yep.
And they ignore that self-knowledge, wisdom, and the inner journey, career, life purpose. Those aren't as sexy as the upper, well, I'll
Sure.
say abundance, fame, and love. The others just feel like
But
I don't get
when you,
those requested as much.
when you think about um the abundance, fame, and love gauze, so like if you don't have that inner knowing,
Right.
if you don't know what you are, who you are, why you are, if you don't understand that, like you're just making fake crap in the other
Right. It's not
areas. Like
sustainable.
it's just
Yeah.
like a facade. It's not real. And that's why people will like implement cures and be like, nothing's happening. Well, duh, because you're the same person.
Or it happens
Like,
once and they can't keep it going.
right.
Um, so I think I still like love where this conversation is going about remembering to connect in with that joy and your inner knowing and your self-guidance, your higher self of our collective that's being called to explore these different areas. And we're very early in period 9. We
Period.
have a long ways to go. We just double checked. We have until, what did I say, 2044?
Mhm.
2044.
Yeah. So,
Also,
wow.
when we're talking about joy, we're not like talking about like necessarily like screaming for joy, right? It's like this
Mhm.
internal joy, this
With
feeling that,
yourself.
yeah, it just is such a different feeling and it completely changes the way you interact with life. Not
Well,
just your life, but
it's
life in
just like
general.
Brooke, like, coming in and joining us, and we feel this for each other. But there are just some people when they walk in a room, you just feel it because they're like a little ray of sunshine,
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks. Thank
you
you.
know?
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
so
And
important. And
yeah,
like, you know how you were saying, like, okay, like, yes, abundance and fame, your reputation, it brings that sexiness towards it, right? Who doesn't want more abundance and wealth? And who doesn't want more fame and reputation? I mean, some people like to hide behind the curtains, but your name wants to be out there. And even if it's just to have a good reputation of the name of who you are, right?
Mhm.
But what is it, like you were saying, how do you know that you really don't need to get down to the nitty-gritty of your self-knowledge, of your own, love and partnership? Everyone's always like, that's the top three, right? It's always health, love and partnership, wealth and abundance, at least with
Right.
most of my clients, right? And
Yeah.
Hmm.
everyone's like, I need a man. And it's like, let's dial back a little
Do
bit.
you though?
Maybe, right? And maybe, and I'm not saying having a significant other isn't wonderful. What I'm saying here is, what do we need to do deeper with you to love yourself? When you look in the mirror, what do you see? And if I ask my clients that, a lot of times they're like, oh, I want to lose 10 more pounds. I want to do this. I want to do that. Like, and I wish I had Botox here and this. I mean, I've never had Botox, but like it's this, and all of these things, right? Okay, but what happened when you were a child that
Mhm.
made you feel that way? How do we work on that inner child healing? How do we focus on what is blocking you to really dive deep into that self-knowledge, that self-cultivation? Um, Wealth, I
And
feel like
that's
I
a
can't
good
get any
point.
further.
That's a good point because as someone who had a major block about doing that, I completely
Yep.
understand it.
I
Mhm.
mean, when I went through my awful, terrible divorce, I went from like low of low, right?
Mhm.
To the point of where every day I would write affirmations about wonderful things that I appreciated about myself, even if I didn't believe it, to train the mind to get out of that phase because I didn't need anybody else's validation anymore. It was here who I needed. And I didn't
Hmm.
know that for 30 something years, you know? So
Hmm.
it's really interesting of how you can make that change for yourself
Hmm.
and bring that joy to yourself just by doing the work yourself.
Don't feel bad about being 30 something because I was 50 something. So
Oh,
you're
it was
doing
the best
great.
thing that ever happened to me. That's
Yeah,
what I
you're
like to
doing
say now,
great.
right? At least I realize that there's people in life that go through their whole life never making that change and completely staying
Hmm.
sad.
Yeah. So, Lisa, your change line ties in perfectly.
Of course, I'm not surprised.
Yeah. I've got four change lines. How many do you have, Brooke?
I don't know. I think I have. Mm,
Look at your cards. It might be easier on your card. Does it have it on your cards?
I don't
Yes,
think.
the upper right corner of your cards has the little picture of the hexagrams, and then you just put them next to each other so you can see which ones change.
Oh, okay. Hold on. From the first and second, right?
Yes.
Sorry, I do my change lines with the coins all the time.
Oh, no problem.
One,
Yeah. It's
2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
wow.
I'll do my four and then you'll do your five. And I'll go
Okay.
quick. So
Yeah.
my change lines change from 60 limitations into 30 duration. And so my fifth line changes. It says be so this is working
Interesting.
us into that. Yeah, that this is working us into that second part of the question of what pitfalls and blind spots we watch for. So here's what's working into that. Don't forget that even limited, wait a minute, sorry. Be gentle and forgiving of your own transgressions. And if you are in a position where you must impose discipline on others, by far the most effective way to do it is to demonstrate its benefits by personal example. So we get this little tidbit a lot. Be gentle and forgiving of your own faults, right? Don't be so
Mhm.
self-critical. So this
Yeah.
is one way we're going to be able to not allow dependency and ego-driven outcomes. My next change line is four. The natural limitations that promote growth can only benefit you if you incorporate them into your everyday life. Take note of any nagging complaints that might be whispering in your ear, acknowledge them, and carry on. Don't try to push them away. That will only make them nag you more. This is the time to turn a deaf ear. And I don't know how I always bring this up in so many of our readings, but that's what Jesus meant when he said, turn the other cheek. He didn't mean
Yeah.
like let someone punch you and then give them the other cheek so they can punch that too. He meant turn the other cheek, turn your
Let it go.
focus away.
Yep.
Focus on something else for God's sake. That's a power that we have. We all have the power of focus. Let's remember that.
And also,
Well,
if you
yeah.
just turn the other cheek, it's not giving that energy to
Right,
something that you don't need to be bothered with,
right.
right?
Because
Right.
you're not
Focus on
focusing on it.
yourself. Exactly. Focus on yourself.
Focus
Focus
your
on the out.
energy. I don't think a lot of people understand you really do have. That's the one thing you have power over in this lifetime
Yeah.
on this planet. It's the one thing only you control. It's your focus.
We were just talking about this in our pre-chat, everybody. So
Mhm.
our pre-chat, we were talking about, when you want to have the control over everything else, and I used to be a control freak. So to my fellow control freaks out there, listen very carefully. When you start to realize, when you start to realize that you cannot control, I don't care how powerful or in whatever it is, you cannot control other people's actions or their actions, right? Like you have no control over it. I can't say it over and over again. And
Or
once you
not even
realize
just
that,
their actions, what they think of you.
what exactly,
Right.
it does not matter. You can be Mother Teresa, you can be Lady whoever, you can't do it. Okay. You
There's a
could
famous
only
person.
control
There's a
yourself.
famous person that has this quote that says, "Your opinion of me is none of my business," and
Correct.
I
I love that.
fucking love that so much.
It's
I
so great.
can't
And it's
remember.
so
I will have to look
powerful.
it up.
And
I'll look.
honestly, you'll be less disappointed in certain things in your life once you realize that.
Now
Isn't
my
that a four
next,
agreement? The Paulo Coelho
yeah,
four agreements? Yeah.
yeah, it is. Okay, I have two more lines.
Yes.
Line three changes. Are we done with that one I just read?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Line three, when you've had so much fun the night before that you wake up in the morning with a headache, you can either blame it on your party animal pals or learn something about yourself from the experience. If you make the right choice in dealing with any hangover you might be feeling now, you will decrease your chances of repeating the same headache twice. So that's basically saying don't blame anyone else for your bullshit. Own
Yeah.
it and
No.
Own
then
that
figure it out.
headache. Own that party night.
Own it. And then the first line changes, which is try as you might to avoid the frustration and humiliation of growing pains. There is nothing you can do about any inner or outer hurdles you might have to face right now. It is in the nature of things that all of us must continually be faced with opportunities to grow beyond the comfort and safety of the known. And even though it is nearly always ultimately, I'm sorry, and even though it is nearly always untimely in our personal calendar of preferences, it is precisely this personal calendar that needs to be updated and refreshed from time to time. Um, yeah. So, what was I going to say about this? Oh, I was going to kind of relate this back to the whole garden thing. Like limitations create growth, and to me, that reminds me of like when I go out and prune all my plants, and then they bloom again or they
Mhm.
create more fruit because I have limited their growth and they're like, really? Look what I can do. Here's 50 more tomatoes, right?
Isn't
So
that
that's,
wild?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Or, like you deadhead some flowers and in 2 weeks they're in full bloom again. And they
Mhm.
wouldn't do that if I didn't limit their growth. They would just become scraggly and then brown and die off.
This is going
So
in your gardening feng shui book that's going to come out
yeah,
one day. I love that.
true that. So those are all my change lines.
All right. Hang on to your seats, everyone. We have five out of
But that's
six.
a lot changing. Yes.
Okay. All of them? Want me to go through all of them?
Start
All
from
Yes,
the
do it.
top.
Yes, let's do it.
All right, everybody, line two is the only one that does not change, okay,
Okay.
which I find interesting.
Right.
As we were talking about love and partnership and self-love.
Right.
Anyway, that's just my own way of how I,
That is interesting. Yeah.
right? So line one, your way ahead is blocked. The time is not right now for direct action. Reflect on this and retreat on the situation and wait for the right moment to overcome the obstacle. When confronted with a threatening roadblock, it is a mistake to forge ahead blindly. Look for any opening through it or a detour around what is in your way. Also,
Mhm.
wait for the right time to move. I think
Be
that that
patient.
just goes back into just talking about this inner work.
Mm-hmm.
Know, know your limitations.
Right. And be patient.
Right? Be patient. Patience is the virtue
Yeah.
of life, right?
And
So I've
limitations
heard
was
a
my
few
first card.
things. Yeah, I think what Ty carries over from our our reading of our hexagrams is that the idea of what we put focus to, it multiplies or it gains in strength, like how we use feng shui and feng shui mirrors.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh, that's a good
what
point.
right. So like there
Yeah.
may be something that we can recommend in the end of this, but that's been coming to my mind. And also the concept of these obstacles creating a limitation or also resistance that makes us stronger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go to line
Yeah.
three. Okay.
Yes, do it. Do it. Yeah.
Where am I? When one is in a position of responsibility or leadership, caution must be exercised when confronting an obstacle. A wider array of needs and consequences needs to be considered. Rash decisions and actions in such situations will bring misfortune. Nevertheless, a leader must remain firm and decisive once a course of action has been set. Keep your priorities in mind. Those who rely on you will be happy to see you have kept them in mind too. So I think
Yeah.
that that just also goes
Mm.
to show a little bit more of, you know, the cutting through, right? Like who is meant to be on the other side of that obstacle with you and
Mm-hmm.
being clear and intentional about how you get through it.
Mm-hmm.
Line 4, big obstacles often cannot be removed single-handedly. To move a large boulder that is in the way, many hands make light work. Do not confront a serious obstacle until you have gathered trustworthy supporters to help you to move forward before you support firm invites misfortune. I just said this and I didn't even read line 4.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to really be intentional of who is in that inner circle. You can always be nice because there's a difference between kind and nice, right? To others out there. Always treat others the way that you want to be treated. We always hear that since we were a little kid. But who is that core that you can trust? And these obstacles, maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe you're going through some of these obstacles that you're realizing during certain things you only can rely on certain people. And who are those people to
Mm-hmm.
help you get through it?
Well,
Uh,
just to piggyback on that a little bit, when you are doing the introspection and you are growing and learning, spiritually, basically, certain people just naturally kind of, they
Ada.
just almost like fall away. It's not like you have any kind of specific breakup or ending. You just don't jive anymore. Like your
Sure.
energies just don't work together. So, like, because I was talking to a person about who's going through some stuff right now about that. And they were like, how do I know how do I know? I'm in the midst of this turmoil. I'm like, you don't have to know. Sit still, be patient. It will reveal itself to you who your real friends are, who's really going to be with you. It might not even be someone you know right now. And I'm speaking from such experience because I didn't know Lisa when I first started going through my whole awakening, right? And then I met her shortly into it. And like, she's like part of almost like daily life now. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But I have some other friends who I was friends with for years and years and years, and I still love them. We just don't ever meet up. We're never in the same circles anymore. We
Sure.
just,
But also, I think it's also like, what do you have in common? But there's this post that I found off of Instagram on somebody a while back, and a lot of my friends sent it to me because they all know that, I'm involved with Feng Shui and I love it and I breathe it and I live it. And it's like Feng Shui is not just moving furniture, although yes, it has a huge part to do with it. But delete the contacts that no longer exist in your life, people that don't mean anything to you, declutter everything and anything. If anyone's holding on to like love letters from an ex or old birthday cards from people that don't matter, get rid of them. They're holding on to that energy, and that energy is always around you, right? And
mm-hmm,
to piggyback off of what you said, Michelle, really quickly, the both of you know that what I have been through, especially in the past 6, almost 7 years now, and I cannot explain the fact that I hit rock bottom. Like my whole world was ripped out from underneath me, and I had to totally rebuild over. And that's where I came up with the Feng Shui Your Life. But with that being said, I probably removed about 75% of the people that were in my life because they were either tied in with the situation or as we were just talking about how I, moved from New Jersey to Florida, it was a constant reminder of that situation. And I realized it wasn't the best for that to be around myself for my evolution and my growth. And it just panned out so beautifully. So
mm-hmm.
I couldn't agree more.
Yay. What's your next line?
Line 5, and then line 6. Line 5. In true emergencies, one should not wait to devise a cautious strategy or enlist the support of others before taking action. In such cases, immediate action precedes strategy, and your resolute spirit will spur others into pitching into. Acting boldly when action is called for brings good fortune. At times like this, it is better to be 51% right in your efforts to surmount the obstacle than 100% wrong in your choice to not deal with it.
Ooh, that's a good line at the end.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I'm going to hop right over to 6 unless either one of you want to
Yeah,
add.
go for it. Yeah.
Okay. When a difficult situation, this is the last one. When a difficult situation degenerates into a real mess, only bold, forthright action can turn things around and bring success. This line points to the situation of a person facing a roadblock to moving forward while also facing an obstacle from behind. There is no way forward and no going back. The circumstances are so complex that they appear to be a trap with no way out. When this happens, Redouble your efforts. Do your best to not worry much right now about the results. Look for help from others in positions of authority and power. When you find strong support, a breakthrough becomes probable. Have faith in
Hmm.
your own experience and you can salvage the situation. Good fortune awaits.
Yeah, I think that's speaking to like if we are acting as bridge people, as Lisa and I have been talking about a lot, and
Yeah,
helping people surrender their busyness, and ego and stuff. I think that's kind of talking to like just because you're helping other people, that doesn't mean you won't ever need help. And
absolutely.
if you find yourself stuck in a position like that, not to be embarrassed that you don't know the answer, just call someone who does.
Sure.
You know them already, so you might as well call them. I did that when I first got in real estate. I was only 25 and I had a lot of, like I'd go on listing appointments and people would be like, "You're so young. Like, how could you even know what to do?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know everything, but my broker is the smartest realtor I know.
Right.
Like, I got her on speed dial. I can call her anytime. You can call her right now. You want to call her right now? And I
Sure.
kind of,
Mhm.
ease their minds."
And I also love it just because they might not even just help, like never just look for a handout, right? I think everything has to be earned and you utilize them for their knowledge to make your own decision because then the good fortune will await by the decision that you make, by the knowledge that you receive. But it's also a different perspective, right? And the impact that other people have on you or that you have on other people.
Hmm. Perfect.
That's
All
All
right.
beautiful.
right.
Now we'll start second energy, Lisa.
Treading carefully, and just to summarize this, I think it's really interesting. It says, or my favorite part is, in the court of a powerful king, the jester has more power than a prince. Hmm.
Through
Mm.
that.
I just think that's a really interesting way to talk about this treading carefully is what I heard in all of our consults here with the I Ching is this idea of busyness and perfectionism and clinging to an appearance of being the best all the time is being okay with being good enough with great people around you to be able to navigate anything. And it says competent people find their way and make progress even in difficult circumstances because we have amazing resources, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
obviously it says consider your steps carefully when powerful forces surround you. We know that there's powerful forces around right now. Uh, I don't know. I don't need to say anything more than that. I don't think. The ideas that you've said organically about turning the other cheek and multiplying what needs to be multiplying and generating the joy from within and emanating that and finding your people. And I think that's the idea here.
Hmm. I do too. I do too. Are you have any more you want to
Yeah,
say?
no, that's it. I just want to show you what that looks like. It's a
That's
forest
Oh, it's
and there's,
beautiful.
beautiful.
yeah, trees and feng shui, the wood energy and what that represents. And just, there's a lot of fast-paced upward growth happening
Hmm.
in electronics and technology and systems and society. And trees are a network of themselves connected beneath the surface. And they warn each other of fires or when they're dying or so on and so
Hmm.
forth. And they can regenerate if we don't wipe them all out with a giant machine.
Yeah.
Um, and their roots are in this like marshy
Yeah.
land
Hmm.
almost, right?
And it
So
almost looks like the
treading,
water below it too.
it
Like on the
does. It
bottom,
look,
it
you're
has
right.
that same
The waviness.
symbolization of our first cards too.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Yeah, I see that too. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Want me to go next?
Yes.
Yes.
Rookie? Okay. So I have number 32, which is duration. Um, and it's a really interesting card. It's all mountains, all four
Oh,
Okay.
mountains.
That is really cool.
Yeah. So it says the essence of a mountain is stability, a deep and abiding quality that withstands the test of time. It is the solidity of the rock and the stabilizing function of earth, and it is unequivocally itself, meaning it's pretty authentic. For any relationship to endure, it must reflect the qualities of a mountain, as above, so below. Um, in human life, stability manifests as a firm footing in the here and now that takes each step with deliberate intention and doesn't get sidetracked by seeking shortcuts. It arises when you believe in yourself and in your endeavors and focus totally on the task at hand. The spirit of duration holds the vision. Rain or shine, feast or famine, so you remain steadily on course and can adjust to constant change without compromising your integrity. So this is answering what pitfalls or blind spots should we watch for, so our work empowers our collective rather than creating dependency. This is telling us to check ourselves every chance we get. Are we being the stable force that we need to be? Are we being the consistent and like the keywords on here: consistency, continuity, endurance, perseverance, maturity, strengthening, stability, and a deep commitment. So we need to embody those qualities if we want to keep our own alignment and our egos in check, and empower our friends and our family and our clients instead of rather enabling them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking this as a check yourself every day kind of thing. You know, like Paul said, you must die daily. He wasn't talking about physically dying. He was like, leave your ego at the door, then go do your work. That's what he was saying.
It makes me think about self-knowledge and wisdom and mountains and how it's really an energy of movement, because even though mountains appear stationary and grounding and protecting and forceful in that way, they're moving beneath the earth. And, you
Mm-hmm.
know, magma and all the
Mm-hmm.
different, like the ancient
Mm-hmm.
materials that go so deep. And so there's always this work beneath the surface that is keeping these mountains up top,
Yeah.
Yep.
that stable, protecting presence. And so I don't know, like when it says what pitfalls are not pitfalls,
Not
pitfalls
pitfalls,
or
pitfalls.
blind, watch out. Pitfalls or blind spots should we watch for. What came to mind for me, and it says relating to creating dependency, is to give yourself that permission again, to continually grow in those areas and to have that flexibility, even though people may be looking to you for as a force. I think if we being authentic portrayed to those that we're guiding that we are constantly growing and changing as well, takes away some of that dependency. You know, gives that permission to continue to explore with us those depths.
Mm-hmm. And also as well, I should say, the mountain is earth, right? The earth
Yes.
energy. And like people, I mean, you just think of earth as like dirt or a planet or whatever, but earth
Yeah, it's like
itself
it's
is
always there.
it's a living microorganism that
Yeah.
is moving and changing every day. So you can have the appearance of being the stable, like
Yes.
mountain for someone,
Yeah.
but underneath you're not rigid. You're seeing,
Right.
you're receiving information, processing it, and acting and reacting or responding, I should say, accordingly, right? You're not just, this is the only, like, this is how we do it. I'm a
Right.
mountain, climb me, and that's all you can do, right? Like,
Yes.
that's not what this card is saying. So that's all. I'm done.
Yes.
All right, last one. I'm going to say, before I even read this, pitfalls and blind spots for my card. I have 21 cutting through, and I showed it before. I'm going to show it to you one more time because you
Yeah.
have the thunder below and the fire above.
Mhm.
For me, it's more of the pitfalls and blind spots are your own actions of how you respond to others. Because the first line just starts off with current circumstances call for confronting a thorny situation and cutting through it, right? And later on, it mentions, like Alexander the Great, cutting through a Gordian knot, take decisive action, and you will meet with good fortune and even your destiny. It goes back to a lot of the other stuff that is mentioned in here. Learn how to respond, not react, right? And
Good.
if, through your actions may be vigorous, they must not be hasty, severe, or arbitrary. Be sure to carefully consider all circumstances. later on it says if corrected action is necessary, then we take it, right? We want to be aware of if somebody or in certain situations, disruptions come about with either it's relations with others or events, forgive but don't forget, right? And I'm not saying hold on to that. You don't want to hold on to that energy, but it allows you to be more aware for the next situation that comes into play. So it's like you're cutting through something that maybe you've been stuck with and haven't been able to realize before in the past. So this is a really great opportunity to break through it. And just being honest in honesty is the hallmark of the strong and the self-confident. So being honest with yourself and you know the truth of the situation, right? I always say there's always three sides to every story, right? The way I thought it, the way Lisa thought it, and the truth that actually happens. But you
Mhm.
know how you saw it, and perception is everything. So just being honest with yourself and really taking that rather than utilizing it to an ego-driven outcome.
I love
Perfect. I
that.
love that too. Yeah. This was a great reading, and I feel like it was very clear.
It was
Very clear.
really good timing coming at the time that we're recording this is coming out of Mercury in retrograde.
Yes.
Hmm.
And so we would just spent, for those of us that, we take it with a grain of salt, but we want to dot our I's and cross our T's and to make sure that we're making good, very well-intentioned actions during this time. And I just want to say, and we can go through these together just to summarize what we talked about today. I did a little summary of our conversation and the takeaways, and perhaps we leave our collective who's joining us today with some guidance and things that they can hold with them until we meet again.
That would be great.
Easy. Yeah, I'll take the first bullet point, cultivating that inner joy and steady self-knowledge. We talked about it in our pre-chat, and it continued on in today's consultation with the I Ching, our inquiry, prioritizing our inner practices, whether that Brooke, please, we'll make sure that we share your meditation um, within our description so people can access that and meet and greet you through your website.
Wonderful.
Whatever your outer expression of that is, whether that's working out, going to the gym, strength training, feng shui, teaching, whatever that is, whatever your outward embodiment practice is. And then also, making sure that you're not trying to replicate what someone else is doing and thinking that's going to be sustainable. Make sure that what you're doing is coming from your authentic, the thing that you do so naturally, so easy, so well. Like Michele with her gardening expression in Feng Shui. That's a superhero power that comes very easy to you, right?
Yes, but what people need to understand too is like your superpower is what you think is not important. Like
Right.
it's what
It's
you
so
think
easy for you.
everyone else can do it. No, not everybody else can do it. And
That's a good
even
example
if they
though, because
can, it's not like you. So like the thing that
yes.
you shouldn't be like pounding your head against the wall trying to do something that it feels impossible. Do what you can, like do what you're really good at.
And it makes you joyful from
And it
within. It's
makes you,
something you
yeah,
would choose to do anyway.
right.
And it doesn't come from busyness or learning how to do it faster or harder, better than everyone else. It's your thing.
No
And
matter what Kanye West says.
right. Exactly.
It is a great
Anyone,
song though.
it's great to run to.
Yeah.
Um, I think the second one, Michele starts more talking about what your area was
Hmm.
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. I love these little
Summaries.
synopsis we can do. Yeah.
Yeah.
It says
Yeah.
use
Yeah,
healthy
they're great.
limits and consistent practice to grow, set boundaries, simplify busyness, and commit to steady, enduring habits so obstacles become fuel for maturation rather than derailment.
Mm. Derailment's a good word.
Yeah.
Derailment. That's a, yeah.
Cautionary tale that I fall into a lot if I don't keep myself in check.
Right. And I think that kind
Right.
of goes back to doing things that you bring you joy, right? And that inner,
Mhm.
that steady self-knowledge that you were just talking about in that first bullet. because I feel that when I know I travel a ton for work, right? Like I'm almost gone almost every single month at least.
Right.
So when I
Yeah.
have a month home, I'm like, this is great. And I'm like so incredibly happy. Not that I don't love to travel, but I'm in this constant routine, right? Of things that
Mhm.
I love to do, going to the gym, working out, eating healthy, really being self-conscious, really being conscious of the items that I'm putting into my body, going for my 8 mile beach walks, like things of that nature. So I totally couldn't agree. And the third bullet, lead with humility and clear intention. Tread carefully, model the work, don't do it for others.
Mhm.
Invite trustworthy support when needed, and act decisively only after discerning the right moment to avoid enabling dependency or ego-driven outcomes.
Mm, yeah.
So,
We get told by the I Ching to lead with humility a lot.
yes.
Yeah.
And I
I'm
think
starting
that
to
kind
take
of
it personal.
also goes into, you know, being back to the feminine, the Feng Shui Your Feminine meditation I created. It's about reconnecting with the woman beneath, the responsibilities, the expectations, and just being who you are, being yourself with humility. You know what I mean? So it's like it's just all about leading and discernment, right?
And
Yeah.
self-acceptance, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah, self-acceptance. It makes me think about there was, I don't know, I think it was Diary of a CEO or a podcast I listened to recently. If I knew it, I would quote it. But I think a lot of experts talk about this. But when a woman feels safe, sh- in relationship, financially, her natural go-to, and that expression is play.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So, and you may recognize this from yourselves or from being with friends. When we get really silly and like that jester, and just like act a fool, but it's
Oh
also
yeah.
so attracting and so powerful. Like that's when you're doing something right because
Yeah.
Absolutely.
you're around the safe people in a safe environment, and that's when the good ideas come from
Yeah.
freedom and play. It doesn't come from, okay, let me get out my checklist and what
Yes.
have you
Hmm.
been doing to work toward it? No one that doesn't cook up the good ideas.
No. Nope.
Mm-mm.
No, I think being playful and creative, I mean, whether even if you don't like children or being around children, like children are my superpower. I'll say that all day long, right? And I know that.
Yeah.
But when you're around them, at least for me, the things that come up in my head and just being silly and playful, like that's who they are when they want to just be imaginative. So when you can be that and incorporate that, again, there's that silliness. I love the girlfriend idea, or intention that you were just saying, because I was just with all my girlfriends in New Jersey and it was just so fun and so playful. And we're blasting music, we're dancing around. Of course, they're all like, Brooke, can you cook for us? I made like 30 chicken cutlets and penne vodka and all of these things.
Wow.
Ooh,
And so
I'm
we
gosh.
were
coming down
just
to your
being
house.
like throwing it back to the old school, like high school 2005, 2006 days of like the
Yeah.
throwback musics. And like before you know it, people were dancing on the couches and nothing crazy was happening. It was just 5 or 6 girls in an
Yeah.
apartment cooking,
Yeah.
having a
Hmm.
nice time. And it was great.
And all that tension leaves your body, all the
Yes.
burden in your shoulders, and you're not going to do that around people that are all buttoned up and
Right.
putting on a show of perfectionism,
Correct.
right? I think we're
And
doing that here today.
yes. And I do have to say, the day after that night, I had a more revolutionized meditation with the Feng Shui Your Feminine side, right? So it's
Oh,
interesting certain things because I'm doing it for 27 days. You know, 9 is a
yeah.
sacred number in Feng Shui, and a lot of our transcendental cures, some of them you do for 27 days. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to keep going with this whole mindset, right? So I started doing that. And I was just like, wow, to see the improvement throughout the meditation has just been really mind blowing and beautiful.
Hmm.
I can't wait to listen to it. So is
Yeah,
it
I'm going to send
something
it to
that
you all.
do I have to be still when I listen to it, or can I listen to it when I'm walking
Or in the
Um,
shower.
or in the shower?
I'm going to say still because we're going
Okay.
to start with your root chakra and we want to really
Okay. So
ground in.
you have to be seated like
So
at
I
a
would either, you can either do it lying down. I've done it both ways. laying down,
Okay.
seated in a chair, or seated crisscross applesauce.
Okay. I like that.
Say I work with kids without saying I work with kids
Mhm.
using
Yes.
that phrase.
My kids like that. Yes.
But no,
Crisscross
it's
applesauce.
beautiful, and I can't wait to share it all with you and hear your feedback.
Oh, thank you so much. This
Thanks
has
I
so
been
can't
much
wait
for
to
so
having
fun.
me.
listen
This
to
was
it.
so much fun. We need to do this more.
We
Yes,
should.
come back anytime. Come back
Wonderful.
and yes, plug it in and we'll do our I Ching mashup with Brooke. That was fun. That was good. I
Thanks for
feel
having me. I love being
yes.
around you too.
I
It's
feel
always such a
all
wonderful thing.
charged up and hopefully we'll be overflowing with joy this evening.
Yes,
I can tell you've been practicing a lot, Brooke.
I have been. And I've been practicing a lot more with the coins.
Hmm.
So
Mhm.
this was fun to do it today with the cards. And I don't know, I just love it. And I just got to practice my questions, right, Michele? Brooke has some funny things that she comes up with her
Yes.
questions, and Michelle's like, no. I'm like,
Questions
okay.
are
Not how
hard
we're
to
going to
come
word
up
that.
with. Yeah. Yeah, once you get comfortable, they'll grow. But yeah, and I think in working together with Michele,
Yeah,
our ability to generate questions has gotten so much stronger. But it comes from reflection first. It doesn't
right.
just come from like a want or a need. It comes from also observation.
Yes.
Hmm.
Not a yes or no. It's more about the guidance, the
Hmm.
consultation that we're offering.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think is
yeah.
offering.
Maybe Brooke, like coming out of your meditation
Oh, yeah,
and
that's a
then
great idea.
generating the inquiry, and that would be really
Mhm.
cool.
That's a wonderful idea, and I'm going to go do it as soon as we are done here.
All right.
Have
Oh,
that energy going.
we're closing it out at 3:33
Ah,
Eastern time.
Ooh, nice.
Thanks everyone for joining us. It's been so great. We love how this has been growing so organically and those that have been attracted in. And you can find all the details about Brooke in the description. Make sure that you connect with her, follow her on all the social media. She will answer you
yes, I will.
and probably send you reels in return.
Absolutely. Well,
All
thank you, everybody. It
right.
was a beautiful day. Thank you, Michele and Lisa, so, so much. I cannot extend the gratitude enough of how much I love spending time with the two of you and welcoming me on your podcast today.
Thank you for coming on. You're always so much fun to have on, and you have such great insight. So we appreciate you too, Brooke.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks. Talk to you next time.
Bye.
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 Thank you for joining us on I Ching Mashup with Michele and Lisa. If today's conversation sparked something in you, sit with it, journal on it, or pull your own hexagram and see what answers arise. Until next time, keep listening for the wisdom beneath the noise. We're Michele and Lisa, and we'll see you in the next mashup.